Hello and welcome back to Cruising Off Duty. And look who's back on the channel, Janice. Anybody who's been watching the channel knows I did that 8-week passage from Cape Town, South Africa, across the South Atlantic to the Caribbean, and that took 8 weeks.
Yep.
And many, many episodes.
It was a long time to be apart.
It was. We won't do that again.
No.
Next time I get offered a passage, hopefully, I probably wouldn't do an 8-week again. That was really, really long. But I will definitely have the clause that's only if Janice can come as well.
Yeah.
Because that would have been so much more fun to have Janice on the boat.
Sure.
More fun for you, the viewers, too, because you would have seen Janice and I interacting on the boat, which would have been more like living on board, which is what we want to do in the future. So yeah, so there we go. That's where you've seen, if you've been following the channel, that's where we're up to now. We're about to talk about the Annapolis Sailboat Show. We were there a little over a week ago now. It's almost a week and a half. And you might be wondering if anybody saw us at the show. We did see a lot of people at the show, a ton of people, and we loved that. But people are probably wondering why the episodes didn't come out right away. It's because we're in that sad time of year for anybody in the Northern Hemisphere. It's about to be winter.
Yeah.
And that meant putting the boat away. Our boat, the one we actually own in Kingston. And that was a ton of work.
Winterizing it.
Washing it, power washing it when it came out, scrubbing it, doing everything and putting the winter cover on and winterizing it. It's a ton of work and not a lot of fun too, because you don't get to look forward to anything.
3 solid days of
non-stop,
plus in the evenings.
It was crazy amount of work. And we can't wait till we live on a catamaran or any sailboat, if you're a viewer that's not into catamarans, where we can live in the Southern Hemisphere or more closer to the equator, where we don't have a winter and we never have to put our boat away and winterize it ever again. So we look forward to that. But this episode is more importantly to talk about the Annapolis Sailboat Show, what to expect at the show if you've never been there, what days you should go, what kind of things you'll see at the show, things you shouldn't miss out on, and probably the best days to go. We learned a lesson this time. Yeah. To avoid it maybe one day for sure. But yeah, all of that. And also we're going to talk about the catamarans that we reviewed. We did 11 boats, 11 catamarans. And this year's different than the previous years. We never got on a boat this time, just the two of us with the camera, and walked around randomly. No. We only would do an episode on a boat if the salespeople at the boat show agreed to let us come on and give us a guided tour. We found those are the best episodes for you, the viewer, because we don't miss anything. When it's just us walking around giving our opinion, we tend to not even know there's some feature that's really integral to the boat and we didn't know about it, so we blazed right over it, and then we get a little bit of flack in the comments for why didn't you show us XYZ. So there you go. It also limited the number of boats. Yeah. We've had seasons past where we've filmed like 25 boats. We exhausted ourselves. We just constantly running off one boat onto another. Yeah, that, and then I have to edit it all. Right. Because all the editing. Janice doesn't do any of the editing, so that's all my work. So anyways, this time 11 boats. 2 jobs. Yeah, she does. We're trying to get that cruising kitty up there. She works 2 jobs. Yeah. So she's busy. My second job is, of course, the YouTube channel. So we both are working. We got our side gig, and then we got our extra side gig of renting every room and extra space we got. We're busy. Yeah, we have new roommates come in too. Yeah. So there we go. So we'll talk about the boats, but first let's talk about what you can expect at the show. It is by far the best show. We on the East Coast of the United States or North America, it's the Annapolis Sailboat Show and the Miami Boat Show. Those are the 2 biggies. Yeah. We've been to both. And we've talked to other people, and I think we pretty much all agree the Annapolis Sailboat Show is the best of the bunch. Yeah, for sure. Mostly because Annapolis is the only one where everything is in one spot. Yeah. All the monohulls, all the catamarans, all the boats are in water, so you can get on from the dock and explore any boat you want. And then
plus there's painkillers are everywhere.
There's a bar right there on the shore. Yeah. That's great. But also the vendors are right there too, which Miami doesn't have.
Right, there you have to go to a separate, you have to shuttle to a separate conference center where all the vendors are set up in booths.
So if you're with a group, and some people are there to talk to vendors because they don't care about boats because they already have a boat, and other people are there to see boats, you'd have to split up at the Miami show. Some would go off to the conference center, some would go to the boats, and vice versa, and then you might never cross paths again. So that's why we like the Annapolis Sailboat Show the best.
And Annapolis is cute.
Yeah, it's very cute, very clean and very cute. We love that town. Yeah. And it's warm enough. It's far enough. It's 9.
It's still summer there, like on our Thanksgiving.
It's a little warmer than it is here.
Still summerish.
Yeah, it's about 9 hours according to Google, but I mean if you never stop to pee or get gas, then it's 9 hours. It's more like 11 hours driving for us, almost due south from Ottawa. So you do feel that 9 to 11 hours due south does add a little bit of warmth. So when it's getting chilly up here, it's kind of still almost shorts weather down there still. So that's nice too. Now the days we went, we were there from Thursday. We were theoretically there from Thursday all the way through to Monday. That's the whole show. Thursday is a VIP day, and I hear you don't even need to be a VIP per se. You just need to pay a little bit more to get in on that day. It's about, I heard $10 per person more.
Worth it.
Well worth it.
Yeah, do that.
Because Thursday, it's a work day, and most people don't go that day, and it's a VIP day. It's extra to get in that day. So there's tons of space for you to walk around, look at all the boats. There's no real lines to get on. So highly suggest if you want to look at a lot of boats and you only want to spend 1 or 2 days at the Annapolis show, do the Thursday. Okay, so that's number 1. Friday was okay too.
Yeah, do Thursday, Friday.
Do Thursday, Friday if you want to do 2 days. Or the Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
Because Saturday was an absolute gong show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, clearly they don't limit the number of people coming in. So the docks were so full. We were shuffling along shoulder to shoulder with people. Lines to get on boats were like crazy long. Yeah. Especially the Sailing La Vagabonds, Outremer 47 or whatever was there. They weren't on the boat?
We did not see them. Well, they were at some point or another.
Oh, maybe.
We didn't see them.
Supposedly she had a booth somewhere where she was selling stuff, some other spot. We never saw her. But I guess they were on the boat, maybe on the VIP Thursday. And the line to get on their boat, even when they weren't on their boat Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, was
mega long.
Crazy long. Like all the way down the dock, people were waiting hours just to get on that boat. So yeah, we didn't get on that boat. But even the normal boats that didn't have some big YouTubers on it, huge lines on Saturday. So if you only came for 1 day and accidentally picked Saturday, you're probably very disappointed because you couldn't get on that many boats in the amount of time you had. So then Sunday got better and Monday got better.
Well, we didn't go on Monday.
Well, that's true. But I've heard we were there Monday last year. Monday is sort of like the Thursday.
Yeah, we were there till close last year. It was fun.
It's a work day, everybody's done, so it's a lot of
people. You sit with your painkillers and you watch all the docks be removed and all the boats leaving.
Last year's episodes, I did a time lapse of them taking the boats out and stuff. So yeah, so that's the days, Thursday, Friday, or Sunday, Monday if you only have 2 days. If you've got 3 days, then use your Saturday to go to the vendors because the vendors aren't overwhelmed with lines to look at new motors or new generators or whatever. They're obviously there to get customers, so there's not a real bug wait at any of the vendors' tents to talk to them. So that would be a good day if you're there Saturday to do all your vendor stuff and then spend the other 2 days going and looking at boats. That's about it. Oh, the flooding.
Oh yeah.
This is the first year, and they say this happens all the time now.
On a regular basis.
So global warming or climate change is definitely affecting Annapolis.
Yeah, the show got shut down early on Saturday, and
they removed docks.
Yeah, and they actually had to remove some of the docks because the water was so high they were floating and disconnecting and
craziness.
Coming apart. Anyways,
well, it was on the main street too.
And then we all got kicked out of there. Like there was supposed to be some social activities on the docks after hours, and they all got canceled. All the parties got canceled on the docks. So luckily that night we already had Exquisite took us to a bar. They had already planned this ahead of time to go to a bar restaurant for all the owners and their guests, and we were included in those guests because I did that transatlantic passage on an Exquisite X5, and they invited us to that. It was a great time. But that was luckily that was already booked off the site because all the normal parties on the Saturday that had been booked inside the confines of the event canceled. So now the main street was even flooded. So at first I thought maybe a water pipe had burst. Yeah.
And then we were at a restaurant getting food, and we're like, "Oh, this is crazy! What's all the water? Did a water pipe burst?" And he goes, "No, this happens all the time now." And we're like, "What do you mean? Every time there's a full moon." The tide comes in.
There was a storm too, pushing.
Oh, maybe.
There was a storm blowing extra water into the.
But we didn't feel it. We didn't feel any.
No, but the ocean water was getting pushed into.
But also, he said every time there's a full moon, the tide's extra high. And now, because I guess the world's oceans are just higher, now that full moon makes it just flood in. The restaurant guy was saying this happens almost every time there's a full moon. There's a bit of flooding. So some of the vendors were underwater, so their tents got closed.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. We've never seen this before. We've been there.
People wearing like hip waders. And
yeah, it's funny. I got some footage. I'll throw it on there. So, okay. So let's talk about the 11 boats we're going to go through. And we'll give a quick, because we're going to do an episode on each one of these, just a quick thought on it. I don't want to give away everything. So we'll start with
the Balance 526.
The Balance 526. Now we did a review of it last year. Guided tour last year. It's
a different Balance.
Yeah, it was the one without dagger board. Oh, sorry. Yes, the one without dagger boards. This is a Balance 526 with dagger boards. And you'll find out this when you get the full guided tour. This one gets about 10% more performance because of the dagger boards. Other than that, they pretty much are identical on the inside. Of course, you lose some space on the interior volume of the two hulls because of the dagger boards, but not a lot. This boat was very well designed where it was built at an angle into the wall, so it wasn't taking up a huge part. There was tons of storage. It's a beautiful boat. We liked it without dagger boards last year. We like it with dagger boards this year. So if you're a performance person, the Balance 526 might be right up your alley. And it's not crazy expensive considering one of the boats we're going to talk about in a second. I think it's still about $1.7 million, which is a lot. But if you're into performance, you're going to pay for that. And that's because that boat has parts of it that are carbon fiber. So it's a little lighter and it gets better performance. Balance 526, we do like it. It's out of our price range. But if you're a performance person, that's maybe a boat for you.
And then the next one was the HH60 by HH Catamarans, and it was new and we'd never seen one before, and it did look beautiful from the dock. Like I was looking at the finishings, and it looked really nice in there, and like James Bond like inside. And so we asked for a tour, and they gave us one. And
they had the wood with the Asian signatures. Oh, beautiful boat, beautiful. We didn't know the price. We talked to the guy who was kind of the sales manager, and we told him who we were, and he said, oh yeah, if we wanted a guided tour, come back at 9 before the show opened the next day. So we did that. And we got this beautiful guided tour, and within moments of starting the guided tour, he mentioned the price.
He said it was all carbon fiber.
Yeah, 100% carbon fiber. So he said, so expect that that's going to affect the price tag, and it was $3 million. So it isn't.
You may really like it.
No, exactly.
Or want to buy it.
It's a total performance boat, all carbon fiber.
Beautiful.
66 feet, so very long. I'm sure it goes like snot. I mean, I'm sure it's super fast, but $3 million. So you get used to that price tag. So that's one obviously out of our price range, but definitely some viewer out there might just love this boat. We love the interior.
Yeah.
Next one.
Like it. No. The Naisna 50, which we've shown you before.
Yeah.
This time we had a guided tour.
Yes, we showed it last year. We just walked around ourselves. We liked it back last year, if you see that footage. This year, again, new rule, only guided tour. Really, Kevin, I think his name was, Anyways, guy gave us a guided tour who was super knowledgeable about the boat and went top to bottom. So you're gonna like that boat.
Yeah.
We do, and it's in a price range that's about where we want.
That we might have an actual hope of
buying. An actual hope. So how she worded that.
So the next one was the Maverick 440, which we showed you the Maverick 400 last year.
Yeah.
Had the guided tour.
Yeah, that was a really good episode. Robert Shearing took us on a guided tour of the Maverick 400. It is almost identical boat inside. The 440, what they do is they add extra length onto the bows, or the stern, I guess. The stern, and then they had put a bow pulpit out the front. So you add all that together, and it's 44 feet. It's a little longer waterline, so it goes a little faster. It has more carrying capacity for things like dinghies. So I think if we were going to get one, we wouldn't even consider.
That's another one we'd have a hope of.
Yeah, it's a price range we can afford.
We might.
But also that extra length is a must for me. I wouldn't want the 40 foot, that extra few feet for carrying capacity and all that, plus a little bit faster, longer waterline. So if we were going to get a Maverick, it would definitely be the 440 that we see this year, not the 400 that we showed last year, although the inside looks the same. So if you saw last year's episode, the interior of this one is the same layout, different wood.
Different finishings.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
With these custom boat builders, the owners get to pick the wood and everything. So you can go in 1 year and not really love it. We'll talk about a boat that's sort of like that in a second, but you don't love it because the color scheme that the owner picked wasn't what you would like. And then the next year you go and it's pretty much the exact same boat layout wise, but just totally beautiful because the wood is what you would like. So it's amazing how much that makes a difference. So the next one,
the Neil Trimaran, the 47.
Yeah, we did the Neil last year, but it was a 51.
I think so, and I just went on quickly with the camera. He was not feeling well.
No, I was just beat.
We happened to be near it. I'm like, I'll just hop on it and I'll check it out.
I said, it's a Trimaran. Nobody wants to see Trimarans on the channel. And then
we're like, oh, and then a bunch of people were like, we would like to see more of that.
Yeah. And this one's more our size, because last year was 51. So picture 3 hulls on a Trimaran, plus it's 51 feet long. It was a really, really big boat. This one's 47. It's a Trimaran, of course, but it's more compact. A little bit more something that we could see ourselves in.
Yes,
so, there we go.
For sure.
Next one.
The Royal Cape Majestic 530, which we've shown you a couple times.
Yes. And this is the boat I was alluding to about how you can love it 1 year and not love it the next year. And it's all based on, this is a completely customizable boat. They will change the floor plan. You can have 3 cabins, 4 cabins, 5 cabins, 6 cabins. They just split it up differently. And they completely let you pick the wood and the furnishings and everything. And last year's one was a gong show.
We weren't a fan of the
Nobody was a fan. We talked to people since then, even from the company, and they were like, unfortunately that was the last boat we built and it was available for the boat show. But the guy who built it just, well, terrible design. He got rid of the galley on the main floor, made it one big open concept thing because he wanted a playroom for his kids. The galley was down. Wow. You don't remember that, do you? And the color scheme was, oh my goodness, deleted it, we hated it. And yet the year before, we absolutely loved that boat because it was the way we would want a boat put out with beautiful honey, like maple, and it was beautiful, beautiful, loved that boat. So it's funny, loved it. Last year, didn't want to say hated it, but really didn't like it. And then this year was closer to the first year. It was better than last year. But still the wood choices, especially the flooring choices on the stairs and some other places with the rubber matting and stuff, it wasn't really, But the other thing too though, and something exciting if you are interested in in the Majestic 530. They now have a Majestic 570 coming out, which is a bigger boat. And we met one of our patrons, that's Raphael, who took us out to dinner, who is actually ordering a 570 flybridge version. So it's going to be huge. So when he eventually gets that, he's going to take us sailing, he says. So we look forward to that. But so there's a newer model that's bigger, and also the existing 530 has a new hull shape in the future.
More modern.
Yeah. If anybody complained about the Maverick for 530 before, they said
the Majestic.
Sorry, Majestic 530, is that the hull looked a little dated, a little old-fashioned. So they've completely revamped, changed the mold, new shapes. Unfortunately, there's a downside with the new shape.
New price.
New price. We always used to...
New price. Bigger, new price.
Noticeable jump, which kind of was like a punch to the gut for us, because we were like, this is the best bang for the buck.
Had hope of...
possibly affording it. It used to be $945,000, $950,000 for everything. And they came with scuba, compressor, yada, 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 yada. Everything you can imagine was included on the boat. Tons of solar, tons of everything for $950,000, and it was a 53-foot boat, and it was beautiful wood inside when we saw the year that had the beautiful wood. And that was $945,000. Now with the new hull shape, it's now $1.2 million. So we were like, oh, okay, that's a big jump in price. So it went from the boat that we said, actually, we feel this is the best bang for the buck, to just, it's kind of
now it's
okay for the buck. Like it's not
still good,
but 1.2 is a big jump from 900.
So now it's out of our price range, like out of our league, out of our reach.
Sad.
Boom. And the next one was the Seawind 1260.
Yeah, a lot of people in previous seasons asked why we didn't review the Seawind, and I guess we walked by it and it looked a little bit too Spartan, just a little bit. And we thought, is that really a liveaboard, go around the ocean, go around the world kind of catamaran, or is it a coastal cruiser? Similar to like a Gemini or whatever, they're more built for coastal cruising. We thought the Seawind was the same. So we really didn't put much time into it. And this year, because we got a lot of people asking why we never reviewed a Seawind, we did. Now the biggest Seawind they had there, they had an 1160 and a 1260. Now 1260 is in meters, so it's 12.6 meters. So it's about 41 feet, but they have a 1600 that wasn't at the show, but supposedly going to be at the Miami show. That's going to be like whatever, 45 feet or whatever 16 meters is. So that would probably be more our size. But we got a guided tour of the 1260. Really liked it.
We did like it.
Yeah.
It was very clean. It was, you know.
It's very, keep it simple.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of like on the Exquisite with the laptop or the iPad, you can change everything and all these C-zone systems that are all talking to the iPad. This is more like on-off, clicking things at the panel. Everything's an on-off switch. There's not a lot of bells and whistles, but the price was crazy low compared to what we were expecting.
So very much in our ballpark.
Like new, like in our ballpark new this time.
Yeah.
It was only like 430 or 450
we would consider
for a 1260.
Yeah.
Now if we looked at the 1600, clearly the price would be higher, but it might be something to consider. And that's built, I think, in Australia. So it's one of the only boats that's built.
Is it?
Australia or New Zealand? Anyways, down there. It's not South African, it's not French, and it's not Argentine. We're going to talk about an Argentine boat in a second too.
So the St. Francis 50.
Okay, St. Francis 50 it wasn't here last year when we did our episodes, and we liked it from a few years back, but it was there this show, and we got a great guy to give us a guided tour. The guy who actually owned the boat that was at the show is also the sales manager for North America or whatever, and hilarious guy. He took us on a guided tour, very detailed. You're going to enjoy that. And we really always liked the St. Francis 50.
It has always been one of my top 6. So.
Yeah, top 6. Keeping
them in. A not so short list.
Yeah, well, that's what we got to do because we're going to probably buy used. So we're
too picky, but
we're going to have a list of maybe 6 boats that we would consider buying used. And that way, when we get on the used market, if one of those ones isn't available at the time, we can switch to one of our other alternatives. So that's why we don't have a #1 boat. So St. Francis 50, you're going to love it. Next one?
It was the XS 38.
Oh, yes.
And that's by Bennett.
Yeah.
The new brand of catamaran.
Yes.
Bennett.
So Bennett actually owns Lagoon.
Yeah.
But they wanted to come out, you know how, if you know monohulls, Bennettos, they have the Oceanus series like we have. That's what we have, a Bennett Oceanus, which is sort of wider, more cruisy, not really racy. And then they have the Bennett First series, which is more racy. They're going to do that with catamarans. So they're going to have the Lagoon series, which is what they've always had. And it's more just built for cruising comfort. It's kind of wider. It's not as performance oriented. And then they're going to have this new brand called XS.
Yeah.
EXCESS. And they only had one model at the show this year, but they're going to have a bunch of sizes. And the one they had at the show this year was the 38.
Yeah.
And Wiley Sharp, if you've ever watched his boat reviews, he's a boat broker and he does boat reviews of all sizes, monohulls, catamarans, and he's really, we've talked on email before because we're respect each other's content we put out there. And he happened to be the guy who gave us the guided tour, so you're gonna get to see him. He was a really great guy, so we were glad to meet him in person. So anyway, so that was the only one they had. 38 is a bit on the small side for us, but it actually...
It was still nice, though it had only one sink. Anyway, but it was very nice.
Only one sink. Yeah, no, but it was actually for 38.
Yeah.
Compared to the Lagoon, we did the Lagoon 380 last year, and we were like, oh, it's a tiny home, it's nice, it's cute, blah, 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 but it's probably too small for us. This one felt bigger than that. And it's because it's a more modern shape. The old Lagoon 380 was an old shape from probably like 12 years ago, and they, you know, really hadn't updated it, and I think they've now discontinued that model. So this is going to be a 38 with the more modern, use every square inch of the boat type of thing. So it didn't feel tiny, but it probably, if you're going to live full time for a couple decades on a boat, you might want a little bit more space. So anyways, they do have bigger models, and they're probably going to be at the Miami show. So. Yeah.
So I think it was a Privilege 50.
Privilege 50.
And I did love that.
Yes.
So I think it's out of our league.
Yes, it's out of our price range, but it is a beautiful boat.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah, and it's more built, sort of like the Exquisite is. It's built, they really focus on quality. Like he opened up, they gave us a great guided tour, and the guy actually gave us a guided tour as a face I recognized. I couldn't figure out why until he told us he used to work with Antares. He used to be one of the kind of like the owners of Antares, and I used to see him on YouTube all the time showing off the Antares, and now he's working with Privilege. So anyways, he showed us the boat, he opened up everything, and you could just see the quality in the infrastructure and the piping and the wiring and all that. So he seemed to be really focused on talking about how much Privilege is about a quality boat. And they have a weird kind of, well, not weird, but kind of unique center main
which
salon.
I love.
Or main cabin. Main cabin.
Master cabin.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, there's kind of short headroom in the center.
Yeah.
But I love just it feels so wide. There's tons of room on either side of the bed. I liked it.
We like that one a lot. So a little out of our price range, but it might be for you. So check that out.
And the last one was the Antares 44 again. With Beth again.
Yeah. So if you saw last year's episode we did with Beth where she gave us a guided tour, it was Beth again this year, and she was more than happy to give us a guided tour of this model that has some new additions and changes.
Different decor.
Different boat, and they've rigged it differently too. So they've made some changes to put the lines under the deck and hide some things, and so it's worth seeing again. This was a brand new model too. I think last year might have been a 1 or 2 year old model. I'm not 100% sure on that. This one she said is a brand new 2019 and with the new addition, so it was worth seeing again. So you'll see that. Yeah. And we like the Antares. Yes, so
very much, but I don't know if we'd ever be able to afford one.
It's actually not too bad. Oh, that was one of the only boats that I noticed didn't change its price.
Didn't increase price,
For the last 5 years, I think we've been going to the Annapolis show. The Antares 44 has always been around $950,000. And every year, the other boats we compare it to, and 5 years ago, I was like, ooh, it's kind of pricey for a 44-foot boat. But it's nice.
It stayed the price. And other boats have gone past, like started lower and gone beyond.
Exquisite's kept going up, and now Majestic's going up, and everybody's going up. And for some reason, the Antares 44 is still under $1 million, and it comes with everything.
But they don't depreciate, like they retain their value, so not likely that a used one would come up. And I mean, if you are able to buy an Antares, that's the upside, is that they don't seem to lose their value on the used market that much. You'll see a boat that's 5 years old and they're still selling for $800,000, and you're like, what? So yeah, the Antares keeps its value, and that's something to remember if you are able to buy one used, or if you find one used at a good price. Just know that it won't immediately drop off a cliff price-wise after you've used it a few years. So keep that in mind. Now, talking about Lagoon, Leopard, Fontaine Pajot, we did reach out to them by email. So if you're ever wondering why we didn't do any of the mass production boats this year, they'd have their own marketing departments, I guess, and they just didn't care that much if we were coming on board. I emailed all 3 of those companies and asked if they had any new boats this year. If they'd like us to come on board and do it, as long as they give us a guided tour, we'll film it, we'll put it up, it's free advertising. Didn't even bother to email me back. So, and then when we went on the show, we went to a few. We tried to get Bali and Katana. But and same with last year, Bali didn't want us to film, and so we asked again, and they didn't want to give us a tour. And
they said check back later or give us your phone number and we'll contact you and let you know if you can come in and do a guided tour, and then never contact us.
But last year they were firm that they did not want us filming. So, and then this year, same thing with Katana. She's like, we have serious buyers. I don't think she hasn't had a clue of marketing and how potentially there's some serious buyers out there viewing, but they were not going to let us on because they had a lineup of serious buyers. So
yeah.
that's fine. Maybe next year.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, Exquisite learned firsthand that video that he did, that Tomas did to the walking tour. Has 220,000 views, and he tells me he's gotten so much business from the YouTube channel showing his boat. So Katana and Lagoon and Leopard and Fontainebleau, who just sort of like, we don't need you.
Yeah.
All right.
We have been on a Bali one time when we chartered one of the neighboring boats. We met that lady and she let us check it out, and they were nice, and I do like them. So I don't understand why they don't want us to film it. But anyways, in case you're wondering, don't be upset if your favorite production boat builder wasn't shown this year. That's just because we weren't invited to do a guided tour. And we've done so many of the Lagoons, Leopards, Fontainebleaux in the past years. It's kind of been done a lot, so we didn't feel like we needed to do it again. There we go. So that's everything about the Annapolis Sailboat Show. Hopefully you learned a lot in this episode. If so, show the channel some love, give it a thumbs up, and... missed you. Happy to be back, and we will see you in the future episodes.
And subscribe. Bye.
We anchor and hoist the sail.